Hey guys, we got a video by Gigi Mikan. Subaru lost his memories and still chose to be him. Now, again, I just watched the latest ReZero episode, and honestly, what I loved about the episode specifically was Meili was meant to be like just kind of a random BS character. Like, we barely really knew Meili, right? She just worked with Elsa. She was Elsa's little sister, whatever. But like, this episode and just this arc as a whole, like, it felt like a good tribute to her character. Like I thought she was just gonna be some BS side character who fades into the background and we forget. And I just really loved that Tape kind of did this for her, gave her her own episode.
Who forgot everything, his loved ones, the great things he did, even the tough experiences that turned him into the
Like again, while I was watching this arc, I forgot Meili was even like a character. I forgot she was even here.
person everyone trusts with their lives today. But somehow, he never forgot how to be Subaru. For most of Season 4 Part 1, Subaru believed Natsuki Subaru
Dude, this went crazy, bro. This went insane. Like literally carving into his own skin a Natsuki Subaru's here. That's creepy as hell.
was someone he had to catch up to, a version of himself built from memories he no longer had.
Dude, I still don't know what's going on. Is Gluttony somehow in the tower? So I know Meili's the one who pushed Subaru and stuff. Like we know that, but who was Daniel? Who was evil Subaru? Was that Gluttony possessing Subaru's body? Like, dude, I shouldn't even try. Why am I even trying in the first place? ReZero is way too complicated to figure out at this point.
So if those experiences were gone, could he really still make the choices that made
Which is honestly why I love the show so much. Again, dude, I literally just like binge watched ReZero like a few weeks ago. I used to think it was like bad. Like I watched season 1, but I didn't necessarily like see what was going on with it, or I didn't really stick with it. But now after I like watched season 2, season 3, Regulus versus Reinhardt and Subaru, like genuinely it's peak. Like the originality goes crazy. I think in terms of originality, it's like up there with like Death Note and maybe even like Attack on Titan. Like it's way better than Mushoku Tensei. Extreme diff or high diff, but yeah, it's basically the best isekai. Maybe you could say Slime Tensei, but you know.
Subaru who he is. Season 4 Part 2 finally gives us the answer. And somehow the person who proves it best is Meili, the girl who already murdered him once. Because Subaru's response to her doesn't just prove that his compassion survived without his memories. It proves that being...
I felt a little bad for Meili though, because she was literally gonna like fall off the tower, like just because she didn't want anybody else to understand her. She's probably in a dark place, and I do kind of feel bad for her. But at the same time, she did brutally, kill Subaru.
Natsuki Subaru was always something he chose. More importantly, he gives Meili that same chance to choose who she becomes instead of letting her memories decide for her. If you're interested...
Honestly though, Meili's just like a victim of like of lust and who else? And kind of Elsa, right? Like so she was abandoned, right? She literally was raised by animals, and then she meets Elsa, and then she also, there's this scene of her with Lust, and she's just like cowering in fear. Like Lust probably gave her like PTSD. The Archbishop of Lust, Capella, right? Capella's her name, I believe. Yeah, Meili was kind of cooked from the beginning.
In more ReZero,
at least Elsa was kind of nice to her. Like Elsa never hurt her, it seemed like.
Breakdowns like this, be sure to subscribe because I'll be covering Part 2 weekly. Part 1 forced us to ask who Subaru is without his memories. Part 2 begins by showing us what he chooses to do without them. Subaru's first step toward embracing himself as Natsuki Subaru is choosing to move forward without waiting for his memories to return, even after losing almost everything.
That's actually crazy when you think about it. I feel like it also makes sense though, because I mean, he is literally Subaru, right? So even though he lost his memories, like his brain is the same, like his brain chemistry, he's still Subaru. So he actually should have the same personality, maybe. Well, would he have the same personality? It's kind of weird because Subaru got a bunch of character development, and if this is just episode like 1 Subaru, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Everything, connecting him to this mission. Subaru still wants to see it through. Gots to see it through, my boy. And that matters. Because for most of part 1, moving forward was exactly what he couldn't do. I mean, who can blame him? Everyone around him remembered this in
I'll say since it is like so episode 1 Subaru basically reincarnated into, you know, whatever where we are right now, right? Like this is Subaru without his memories. So he should still have like a similar brain chemistry. Maybe not exactly the same because he's missing the character development, but the brain chemistry should be similar enough to where it'll lead him to make the right choices that character development Subaru would have made, if that makes sense. Like his brain is still that of Natsuki Subaru's, essentially. So he's still going to make similar decisions, if that makes sense.
insanely cool version of Natsuki Subaru, a guy who survived impossible situations and built strong relationships, earning the kind of trust people would stake their lives on. Meanwhile, Subaru
I'm actually coming to like Julius as a character. Like I remember in season 1, you know, obviously Subaru hated him and stuff, but like Julius is actually pretty respectable. And honestly, a lot of people will say like he lost aura fighting Reed or whatever, or he got humbled, which, well, yeah, he did get humbled. Like he's still cool. He's still going to keep progressing. He's going to keep moving forward.
couldn't remember any of it, so naturally, he thought he had to somehow catch up to this guy, which is a pretty impossible standard to reach when you don't even remember becoming him. But
Dude, I wonder how Reed versus Reinhard would go, because apparently Reed can just cut through anything, but then Reinhard's just going to be immortal with all of his blessings.
part 2 shows us that Subaru has finally stopped waiting around for an answer. There is no old Subaru coming back to take over, there's just him. So instead of treating the Watchtower like this other hero's responsibility, he chooses to see the mission through himself. And that's the first real proof of what part 1's ending taught him. Subaru was never defined by remembering every choice that made him who he is. He was defined by continuing to make those same choices. And we see that almost immediately with Betty. He doesn't remember their relationship, but being around her still makes him feel safe. He still hugs her like Subaru would, completely
Oh, wait, that's true. No, this is actually... Wait, but...
breaks down and lets himself be vulnerable. He doesn't need to remember becoming Natsuki Subaru and
I thought this was after he said, "I'm back," though. But honestly, I really don't get what's going on with ReZero at this point. I know, like, the popular theory is that Gluttony, you know, somehow took over Subaru's body. It's like, I don't know what's going on. I can't even... I don't even know.
anymore, because every choice he makes proves something much
Plus, I'm not even like a light novel reader, so I just don't have like the insight to really know what's going on.
simpler. He already is him. Now, continuing Subaru's mission is only the beginning, but making the same kind of choices that define Subaru when faced with the girl who murdered him, that's the real test.
Honestly, I feel like it being Meili always made a fair bit of sense. So what I was thinking number one, it was, you know, Meili pretty much, right? I mean, Meili was a murderer, right? Like she worked with Elsa. So Meili was my number one person I was thinking about. And then second, I would say like maybe Gluttony somehow, Gluttony being inside of the tower. I don't know. Number three was pretty much going to be like Rem, maybe Rem because like she was affected by Gluttony. Maybe she was getting possessed or controlled. Yeah.
Subaru proves that his compassion was never trapped inside his memories.
I thought it was either Rem, Gluttony, or Meili pretty much.
When he chooses to understand Meili instead of defining her by the fact that she murdered him. Let's be real. Turns out Meili was the one who pushed Subaru down the stairs, and that's not ideal. When she tries to murder him,
Yeah, forgiving Meili is kind of crazy because wasn't this the second stairs death? Like when Meili pushed Subaru, was that the first stairs death where he just fell down in one swoop? Or was it like the brutal second stair death where he kept hitting his head on the stairs?
again. This time around, Subaru stops it. Instead of instantly losing his mind, he starts asking why. He realizes that killing him wasn't some evil master plan. It was pure impulse.
Yep, literally episode 10 of ReZero is called Murder is a Habit.
Murder had basically become a habit for Meili.
Yeah. Yeah,
See what I did there? It was the
I see
only
it.
way she knew how to deal with a problem.
Oh man, I really love that episode title and how it's kind of like coming full circle because Subaru in episode 12 he literally said, "Well, murder was a habit for you, Meili."
She didn't understand. This is what I meant by the real test. Continuing the Watchtower mission is one thing. Choosing compassion for someone who literally murdered you is a whole nother thing. Subaru has every reason to push Meili down those stairs to
Yeah, Subaru's got some good restraint, but I guess to play devil's advocate, Meili is just pretty much a little kid, right? She never had a good parent.
treat her as the girl who has tried to kill me on multiple occasions. But he doesn't. He separates what Meili did from why she became someone capable of doing it. That is actually what's important. And once we learn just how much Elsa shaped
Yeah, this was sad because I mean, I didn't expect her to jump off of the stairs, bro. I didn't. And this kind of shows that she is more so a character like worthy of sympathy. The fact that she has like little self-worth, like she's not like Elsa where Elsa just doesn't care about anything at all sometimes, or like she's just not like an irredeemable villain in general.
it makes sense. Meili copied the way Elsa worked, spoke, and dressed. Basically everything. She was Elsa's mini-me. That gives Meili the exact opposite problem Subaru has. Subaru forgot the
Yeah, Elsa was very tolerant because like Meili just kept biting her shoulder like 4 times, bro.
memories that shaped him. Meili can't escape the memories that shaped her. Subaru wondered, without my memories, how could I possibly be Natsuki Subaru? Meili is thinking, with these memories, how could I possibly be anything else? And of course, Subaru, of all people, understands that. Faced with a choice his memories can't make for him, he chooses
Yeah, you gotta feel bad for Meili because she had like what 2 to 3 different lives. Like, so first raised by animals, then second, I don't know how much I don't know how much like if she lived with Capella at all or talked to her that much. So I guess it's 2 different lives. She lived with animals and then she basically just lived with Elsa. But we did see her like getting bullied by Capella in that one scene. Like, dude, Meili's face, like she was just cowering in fear, bro. Capella is really evil or something, man.
these same
Or I guess scary. I mean, the first time when Subaru first like met Capella, right, in season 3, it didn't like she didn't come off like super creepy. Like she was creepy, but it just I don't know. I guess Meili was just way more scared since she's actually a kid and also she didn't know what was going on. Like Subaru is used to crazy people, right? You know, especially after him already like talking with Wrath. Like Wrath was crazy, bro. Wrath was insane. But yeah, Meili was just a kid, so it makes sense.
compassion that always defined him. But above all, he realizes Meili can choose too. But knowing Meili can become someone different isn't enough. She has to believe she actually deserves that chance.
Dude, she's basically like evil Petra, right? Like Petra and Meili, they were friends in season 2, right? Like Petra and Meili knew each other or whatever. Um, so basically, I guess it's like Petra had a normal upbringing, Meili had a bad one, so I feel like that kind of makes sense. The thing is, I mean, Meili is still sort of making her own decisions, but Petra and Meili are essentially the same age. One had a good upbringing, I'd assume. I don't know if Petra has some sad backstory, I doubt it. And then Meili had a sad upbringing. I mean, it makes sense.
Subaru proves the power of choice by refusing to let Meili's past become the final decision about who she gets to be. After refusing to accept that
Again, what I really love about this episode is I genuinely thought Meili was just going to be a throwaway episode. I knew Subaru got her along because she can control like Mobbies, which would really help with actually reaching the watchtower and all that. But like she is like the most unimportant character in the watchtower right now. Reed is more important. Subaru is more important. Emilia is more important. Anastasia / Echidna is more important. Julius is more important. Like even Shala is more important. Even freaking Patrash is more. All right, let me not say Patrash is more important than Meili. That's kind of mean. But you guys get the point, right? Like she wasn't really meant to be important, and Tape still chose to actually flesh out her character, bro. This is peak, and this is how you create great animes with good side cast. Um, there's a lot of animes with good side casts like Jujutsu Kaisen, Hunter x Hunter, and it's because you're actually giving time to the side characters. You're giving the side characters backstories. Even with Naruto, not even necessarily Naruto's side characters, but like the villains like Obito Uchiha, right? He has like a very fleshed out backstory and motivations.
Anybody could ever understand her, Meili does the only thing she knows how. She yet again tries to solve the problem with murder. Only this time, the person she tries to murder is herself. And Subaru jumps after her. Bro, this girl tried to murder you not once, not twice, but 3 different times. But when
So did she cause, wait, hold on. Did she cause the second Stairs death?
Girl tried to murder you not once, not
This is the second Stairs death, no? Or is this the first one?
not twice, but
Yeah, that's the second one. He hit a dude. Yeah, forgiving her is crazy.
3 different times. But when Meili questions why he keeps trying to help her, Subaru tells Meili that losing her would just become one more thing he's already lost alongside his memories. How wholesome. Gee, I guess we would miss our murderous little sister. And that's where this becomes bigger.
Dude, if she caused the first Stairs death, sure, forgive her. It was just a fall. But dude, the second Stairs death is like the second worst death in all of ReZero. I'm anime only. I don't know about the light novel. Anime only, the second Stairs death was the second worst. The first worst is the rabbits. The Great Rabbit, the bunnies, dude. That is the worst death in ReZero. But right after that, dude, it's the second Stairs, Pleiades Watchtower death. Like, oh my god, Subaru is a saint, bro.
Then proving Subaru can still be Subaru. Because now he isn't just choosing who he becomes. He's protecting Meili's ability to choose who she becomes too. Everything in Meili's life taught her one way to deal with problems. Elsa taught her how to do normal things like talking to other people and dressing herself, but unfortunately also how to murder. So when everything becomes too much, she falls back on what she knows best.
But I do feel bad for Meili because again, Elsa was, yes, I know Elsa's evil, but she was pretty much Meili's older sister, right? I mean, that seems like the obvious dynamic. I probably wouldn't say mother. Again, Elsa just seems more of like an older sister. Elsa wasn't like compassionate enough, or she wasn't like nice enough or kind enough to Meili to be more of a mother figure. Like, yeah, she did teach her some stuff, but like more of an older sister dynamic, in my opinion. But I mean, yeah, Meili literally has no one now. She doesn't have the animals that she used to hang out with. She doesn't even have Capella to hang out with. And yeah, obviously, yeah, I know Meili wouldn't want to hang out with Capella, but she doesn't even have Capella to hang out with. And then finally, she doesn't have Elsa to hang out with. Dude, it's just her. I guess she could hang out with her mobbies. I don't know. But yeah, I feel bad.
It's human nature to fall back on what you know when the going gets tough. By jumping.
Yeah, completely true. It's just, yeah, people just give in to their old habits. I mean, yeah.
Meili almost accepts everything those memories made her into as proof that this is simply who she is. Subaru, he refuses to let her. And honestly, who better than Subaru? The ending of part 1 taught him that forgetting your past doesn't determine who you become next. Now Meili has to learn the other side. Remembering your past doesn't determine who you become next either. As terrible as the choices Meili has already made are, she can still make the next one. And nothing proves Subaru really is Natsuki Subaru better than that. He can't remember learning this kind of compassion. It is something he chooses to do again and again. Subaru proves the power of choice, not just by choosing who he becomes, but by giving Meili the chance to choose who she becomes too. That's why this episode...
I'm gonna be completely honest. I do think ultimately I am actually fine with them forgiving Meili, because Meili was never like sadistic like Elsa. Like, obviously I know her being younger, we're gonna give her more lenience, but like even outside of her being younger, she was never like sadistic like Elsa was. And even further from that, she never did anything super evil, I believe. Like, well, actually she worked with Elsa for years, but like I'm sure Elsa was like the main one doing all the evil stuff. Again, like Meili isn't like, it's not like she's super evil. Like, she's not like Griffith or somebody, you know? She's not like Griffith level evil. She's not Sukuna level evil, you know? She's not Dio level evil. So I'm actually completely fine with her being forgiven. I think it's fine.
It hits so hard. Subaru doesn't
I could still understand like some people being mad about it because, you know, oh, well, Meili still worked with Elsa for like what, 4 years, or oh, Meili still gave Subaru the second Watchtower death, but I think it's okay.
need his memories to prove who he is. Every choice he makes does that for him. And that isn't even the most beautiful part. After spending so much time scared out of his mind that his own past had disappeared, Subaru becomes the person who shows Meili that her past doesn't have to control her either. He chooses compassion. He chooses to keep moving forward. And by doing that, he gives Meili the chance to make her own choice too. That is how Subaru forgot everything except how to be Subaru. If you made it to the end, thank you for tuning in. Let me know what you
Yeah, man. Dude, I'm so glad I started watching ReZero, bro. I'm so glad I binged it. Dude, I would have been missing out on Peak, bro. Yeah, ReZero's Peak. And specifically, I mean, there's not much else to say. What I will say really quickly is, I guess I'll just summarize, bro. Because honestly, again, I loved this episode. I love this episode because it took an unimportant, like, BS side character that nobody remembered or cared about whatsoever, and we got a backstory for them, right? I know we technically got Meili's book read earlier and got her backstory earlier, but like, you know, we saw it again. We got Meili's full backstory. We understand Meili's motivations and why she does what she does, murder as a habit. We understand that Meili actually cared about Elsa. Yeah, I know. Elsa's such a, you know, horrible person. How can you care about her? But yeah, Meili viewed Elsa as an older sister. I mean, she lived with Elsa for years. What if she actually hated Elsa, she would have ran away. But I mean, yeah, just 10 out of 10 peak episode. I think that's about it. And last thing I'll say is I'm fine with Subaru forgiving her outside of the second Watchtower death thing. But I think it makes sense to forgive her, so I'm fine with it.